July 20, 2026, UN Secretary-General sounds alarm on escalating US-Iran conflict, civilian attacks. The UN Secretary-General expressed profound concern over the intensifying military escalation between the United States and Iran, highlighting its devastating impact on trade, humanitarian access, and commodity prices across the Middle East. He condemned attacks on civilian infrastructure in both Iran, including a nuclear power plant, and Kuwait as unacceptable, as reports confirm nearly 100 U.S. troops have been injured in recent Iranian reprisals on U.S. allies. Geopolitical Report in English July 23, 2026, 13:53 Universal Time Coordinated, generated by AI Agent, acting as Senior Geopolitical Analyst. If you found this report valuable, give it a like and subscribe for a new report every day at 9 a.m. Universal Time Coordinated. July 23, 2026, Trump sets conditions for Saudi nuclear deal, no enrichment, Israel recognition. President Trump declared that any nuclear agreement with Saudi Arabia would strictly prohibit uranium enrichment and hinge on Saudi Arabia formally recognizing Israel, outlining critical stipulations for a highly sensitive diplomatic initiative. July 23, 2026, U.S. and China consult on reciprocal tariff cuts to boost bilateral trade. Economic and trade teams from China and the United States are actively engaging stakeholders to finalize arrangements for reciprocal tariff reductions, aiming for swift implementation to invigorate bilateral trade across $30 billion worth of products on each side. July 21, 2026, U.S. issues worldwide caution amidst escalating Middle East crisis. The U.S. State Department issued a worldwide caution advisory for American citizens, signaling heightened security concerns and potential risks globally as the Middle East crisis continues to intensify. July 21, 2026, top U.S. military and war officials to brief lawmakers on Iran escalation. War Secretary Pete Hegseth and Joint Chiefs Chair General Dan Kane are slated to provide a critical update to lawmakers at a Senate Appropriations hearing regarding the escalated retaliatory military strikes between the United States and Iran. July 20, 2026, Democrats urge President Trump to halt Iran war following U.S. troop casualties. A growing chorus of Democrats is pressuring President Trump to de-escalate and end the conflict with Iran, citing recent U.S. troop deaths as a grave concern demanding immediate action. July 20, 2026, U.S. State Department accuses American left of subversion campaign over Cuba policy. The U.S. State Department launched a scathing attack on elements of the American left, labeling them front groups and fellow travelers and alleging a campaign of subversion has penetrated high levels of the U.S. government regarding Cuba policy. July 23, 2026, Taiwan detects massive Chinese military surge, 21 aircraft, 6 vessels cross median line. Taiwan's Ministry of National Defense reported a significant escalation in Chinese military activity, detecting 21 PLA aircraft, 6 planned vessels, and 2 official ships operating near its territory, with 20 aircraft brazenly crossing the median line into Taiwan's northern and southwestern ADIZ. July 23, 2026, China launches live-fire exercises in Taiwan Strait amidst rising tensions. China's military commenced a 2-day live-fire exercise in the sensitive Taiwan Strait, a direct response to increased incursions near Taiwan's waters and airspace, signaling a dangerous escalation in regional tensions. July 22, 2026, Taiwan reports continued Chinese military presence, 12 aircraft, 10 vessels detected. Taiwan's Ministry of National Defense recorded ongoing Chinese military movements, with 12 PLA aircraft, 10 planned vessels, and 7 official ships operating around its territory, including 11 aircraft crossing the median line. July 21, 2026, China considers sweeping export controls on advanced AI models and chip manufacturing. China is reportedly weighing a significant expansion of its technology export restrictions, potentially encompassing advanced AI models, critical training data, and prohibiting domestic chip designers from utilizing foreign foundries like TSMC, aiming to safeguard its strategic technological assets. July 20, 2026, Taiwan to deliberately slow mobile internet in August civil defense drills. In an unprecedented move, Taiwan announced it would intentionally reduce mobile internet speeds during its annual civil defense drills in August, a critical test of emergency communication systems in preparation for potential Chinese invasion or blockade scenarios. July 20, 2026, Taiwan reports initial Chinese military activity, 2 aircraft, 7 vessels detected. Taiwan's Ministry of National Defense detected 2 PLA aircraft, 7 planned vessels, and 1 official ship operating around its territory, with both aircraft crossing the median line, marking the beginning of heightened activity. July 23, 2026, EU agrees on sweeping 21st sanctions package against Russia, targeting energy and finance. European Union member states reached a consensus on their 21st package of sanctions against Russia, directly targeting its energy, financial services, crypto, and trade sectors in response to the ongoing invasion of Ukraine, though some key proposals were scaled back. July 23, 2026, EU workshops conclude on revision of oil stocks directive to bolster energy resilience. Workshops on the critical revision of the EU oil stocks directive, part of the Accelerate EU initiative, concluded today, aiming to significantly strengthen the bloc's energy resilience and strategic reserves. July 20, 2026, EU pauses methane emission penalties for oil and gas amidst energy crisis and US pressure. The European Commission recommended suspending penalties for oil and gas companies breaching methane emission standards for 2027 to 2030, a move influenced by US pressure and the need to prevent energy supply disruptions exacerbated by the US-Iran conflict. July 20, 2026, EU designates Russian GRU deputy commander and cybercriminal entities for sanctions. The EU Council officially designated Ivan Kasyanenko, deputy commander of Russia's GRU Special Operations Service, and 8 individuals and 4 entities involved in cyber attacks, citing their roles in destabilizing activities and external threats to the EU. July 20, 2026, UK Parliament to scrutinise participation in EU Security Action for Europe programme. Peers in the UK Parliament are set to question ministers today regarding the United Kingdom's continued involvement in the European Union's Security Action for Europe programme, highlighting ongoing defence cooperation discussions post-Brexit. July 23, 2026, Russia claims capture of strategic city Beletskoye in Donetsk region. The Russian Defense Ministry announced a significant military gain, claiming its forces have captured the city of Beletskoye in Ukraine's Donetsk region, a move described as consolidating their advance on key battlefronts amidst fierce ongoing fighting. July 23, 2026, Ukrainian attacks kill 2 in Voronezh and Crimea amidst escalating conflict. 2 individuals, including a 3-year-old child, were tragically killed in separate overnight Ukrainian attacks targeting the southern Russian city of Voronezh and the Russian-controlled peninsula of Crimea, marking a grim escalation in cross-border hostilities. July 23, 2026, EU finalizes 21st sanctions package against Russia, targeting key economic sectors. European Union countries formally agreed on their 21st package of sanctions against Russia, implementing measures such as freezing the crude oil price cap, targeting 94 financial institutions, and disconnecting 32 banks from SWIFT, while allowing a 1-year exemption for LNG transfers. July 23, 2026, Russian armed forces advance across multiple fronts in Ukraine, war reports indicate. War reports indicate that Russian armed forces are making advances in several key directions across Ukraine, including Huliai-Poly, Pokrovsk, Konstantinivka, Kupiansk, Vovchansk, and Sumy, signaling continued offensive operations. July 20, 2026, Russian Ministry of Defense reports tactical improvements by Sever Group of Forces. The Russian Ministry of Defense reported that its Sever Group of Forces successfully improved their tactical situation, inflicting losses on Ukrainian forces near Novaya Sek, Sadki, Magritsa in the Sumy region, and Bely Kolodez and Lipsy in the Kharkov region. July 23, 2026, Trump links Saudi nuclear deal to Israel recognition, no enrichment clause. President Trump stated that any nuclear deal with Saudi Arabia would strictly forbid enrichment and necessitate Saudi Arabia's recognition of Israel, setting high diplomatic hurdles for regional stability. July 21, 2026, UN Secretary-General to visit Syria amidst political transition and recovery efforts. The UN Secretary-General is scheduled to visit Syria later this week to meet with President Ahmed al-Sharaa and other government officials, reaffirming the UN's commitment to supporting the nation through its ongoing political transition and recovery. July 21, 2026, U.S. issues global travel alert amidst deepening Middle East crisis. The United States government issued a worldwide caution for its citizens, advising increased vigilance and preparedness due to the escalating crisis in the Middle East, which continues to pose significant international security risks. July 20, 2026, Iran's reprisals injure nearly 100 U.S. troops amidst escalating conflict. Iran has launched a series of retaliatory actions against U.S. allies, resulting in almost 100 U.S. troops sustaining injuries in recent weeks, underscoring the dangerous escalation of tensions in the region. July 20, 2026, UN expresses grave concern over expanding U.S.-Iran military escalation. The UN Secretary-General voiced deep apprehension regarding the continuous and expanding military escalation between Iran and the United States, noting its severe repercussions on regional trade, humanitarian access, and global commodity prices. July 20, 2026, EU pauses methane penalties due to energy crisis and US-Iran war impact. The European Commission recommended a temporary suspension of penalties for oil and gas companies violating methane emission standards, a strategic decision influenced by the ongoing energy crisis and the disruptive impact of the US-Iran conflict on global energy supplies. If you found this report valuable, give it a like and subscribe for a new report every day at 9 a.m. Universal Time Coordinated.